episode as serious as possible. White
Well,
power.
well, I think that's a good segue to discuss the three black historical figures or icons or
Or
you
just
know,
people that we
people.
Just people.
admire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be famous. And
Mm.
I'll explain why later. But so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go around in a circle. So the concept was, Brandon, I'm sorry for stealing your thunder, was
No, you
that
all good.
we chose we discussed that we were going to choose three people. At first, it was going to be like, hey, you pick, we got to pick one somebody for medicine, politics, and sports, or
Yeah.
entertainment. But I'm like, know what? I want it to resonate with you. I want to see the passion. Again, I don't want it to be like a school assignment. My favorite hero is Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't want it, I want it to come from the heart. So we chose three people, three individuals that we felt made an impact on black people or on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go around the table. We're going to do one at a time,
Okay.
So are we doing one person at a time or one?
one person at a
Are we
time. So
doing?
I'm going to do a
Okay,
person,
I got
Brandon do one, you do one, then back in the circle for the second time, then for the
you.
third
Okay,
time. We cool with
All
that?
right. That's
we
cool with
cool.
me.
Who wants to go first? Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll go first. I don't know how we gonna do rock paper scissors, but I'll go first.
Yeah.
Especially with my
One,
camera off. Go
one,
ahead.
one that meant something to me was Kadeem Harris. So, if you don't know him, he was Dwayne on A Different World. And the reason I admired him and look up and was very inspired by him is because his character played a teacher that was very passionate about people who look like us learning. And that's one of the, I said earlier in the show, it's not enough to be equal. We have to be better. That came from his character. And it always stuck with me as a kid. He played some more great characters. I felt he was recently in The Shy. If you watch that show, he's a plays a teacher in that as well. And to me, I've never met a teacher like that in real life, which is sad. But that was something that I looked up as a kid, and him as an actor is iconic to me because of that. He talks about the issues, the real issues, and how we hold ourselves accountable, and to be leaders and learn. And we have to be better as a community. And that's why I always loved him as an actor. Just admired him, his characters he's played, what he meant to us growing up, to me growing up as a kid in that show, Different World.
It's funny that you mentioned that part. I recently saw that clip on Facebook, not even a week or two ago.
Yeah, that's iconic for me. I love it. What you got, Jeremy?
Okay, I'll take off. So I always talk about. If you guys remember or recall, I speak about like family a lot and like our culture, our people sticking together. And I said that before. Each one teach one, right? So to me, the most unselfish thing you can do is help your kind. And I reached all the way back. I was trying to go back in the history of things, and I thought one good turning point was um, right before the civil rights happened, right? So during slavery, right? And I was reaching back, and I was seeing like what person best resembles what something I'm looking for, and I know we talk about men versus women all the time, but I gotta give love to Harriet Tubman, right? And the reason why I say her because the courage she showed, to actually like run away, run away and actually reach freedom, and then put herself, what I'm saying, in the background and actually come back to save others is just remarkable. And most people today would never even reach back even that far financially. So to put your life on the line to help your community like progress is like the ultimate respect. And one thing I didn't know is the reason why she actually ran away. If you guys don't know, she was hit in the head with like some type of iron, whatever, metallic thing, and it gave her, I think it's called narcolepsy. So if you know what that is, like you can basically fall asleep at any given moment, right? So at this point, she was deemed as a sick person. So no slave master wanted her in a way, which in that world is dangerous because if you're not helping, you're hurting. So that's like basically signing your death certificate. I mean, your death ticket. So because of that, she feared of being sold away to somebody even worse than what she had before. She ran away, and she ran away and came back numerous of times. In 11 years, she saved over 300 people. So I must give love to that type of courageous act because most people today don't have an ounce of that. Everything is self inflicted. So that's my
Facts.
first person. That's my first person I want to speak on.
Facts, man. That's
That
facts.
that was pretty great.
Yeah.
Both of you guys. So I'm doing these in a specific order. They go from, I'm not gonna say minor to major, but it grows each time around. So honestly, my first icon is Prince, the musician. Prince wrote and produced all his songs. So I'm not I'm a fan of music, but to imagine somebody laying down the drums, laying down the guitar, laying down the bass, and being in rhythm with that, that's got to be a special gift. I mean, not only that, I
Yeah.
mean, he gave us some great songs. I mean, some of them were sex driven, but some of them were they had meaning, to make you feel good, or when you was feeling sad, this reminds you of that song. But not only that, he wrote for other people, and he didn't want the credit. He used pseudonyms as for credits, and he didn't feel the need to have a spotlight on him. I guess it was more of a thing to say, I can make you a star, and I'm gonna prove it. Here, take this song. There's some pop songs, some I guess you would call them like rock type songs, all written by Prince. And maybe it didn't fit his mold, but he had a vision for who could be a good vessel for those songs. Not only that, Prince was a great humanitarian. He did a lot of things behind the scenes, not looking for credit. When Trayvon Martin was killed, tragically killed, he was one of the ones that donated to the family. I believe it slipped out years later that he was one of the donors to Spike Lee to help complete the Malcolm X movie.
Mm.
So just those two, there's got to be countless more humanitarian things that he did, and he was genuinely truly an artist. We used to talk about, oh, he freaky, he wearing women panties, but he was still your bitch in a heartbeat. He was still charismatic, doing feminine things. But that not really was what he was. I mean, he loved to play basketball. He was on the basketball team. He 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 was a very passionate person. He had a gift that he gave to the world, and that was through music, and also through his humanitarian acts, which was great. So I was like, you know what? I don't care if they make fun of this when I first said it, but I'm like, that's how really I feel about Prince and what he did as a person. He had a gift. So yeah, that's my first person.
One thing, Eric, hold on. Is he from Chicago? Where is he from? Where's Prince from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't think
And
mine gonna. I'll go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, I was clearing my throat. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. I don't think mine is gonna be as like well, probably not as iconic, but I think he's a very uh influential person to our society today, and nobody really knows about him. But David Nelson Crossway Jr. If you don't know, that's the first black mechanical engineer. A lot of people consider him that. And then every day you go touch your thermostat, or you look up, you see ductwork in a building. That's all him. He wrote the standard for heating and cooling. And in the times he was it was 1898. You know, first HVAC system, Rockefeller Center. He designed that, and which he didn't get credit for all his patents, which are 39 of them, until 1970 71. So that man is very influential, and he helped teach other people who look like us, you know, heating and cooling, thermodynamics. He helped all that with us. You know, he owned over 119 patents that he didn't get credit for until later in his life. So that man is very influential to us in our society, and it's still get used today. He wrote the standard for heating and cooling, and they use it all over the world today. So that's just awesome. That's something I wanted to throw out there for y'all. Didn't know.
No, Brandon, just
That's nice.
understand
Yeah.
there's no he doesn't have to be famous. It's all about
Yeah.
what they mean to you. And I didn't know that.
Mm.
So I'm glad you
Yeah,
shared
me either.
that.
Yeah, that was good, man. I appreciate that. What's his name again? So I can bring it in my
David
mind.
David Nelson Crossway.
David Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's back to me.
Just just type in the first black engine mechanical engineer. He'll pop up.
Yeah, I'll do it later. So so my first one, of course, was Harriet Tubman. So I'm gonna go down timeline. So um, I know we spoke about like black people being I guess depressed and not having much. I know to me there's key things that we need as a society, as community, and we need good schooling, good health care. But the biggest thing we need is financial. It don't got to be financial freedom, but some type of finances that we can all like succumb to, right? And those are major for me. So my next person was you moved down timeline was O.W. Gurley. Are you guys familiar with that name?
No, it
Yeah.
sounds.
O.W. Oh,
No,
you
I'm
gonna
not.
know. You gonna know. So
I,
so so
I
and
want to cut. I want to cut
yeah.
you off, but I thought you were gonna say old dirty
Oh, dirty
bastard.
bastard, me too.
Yeah, no,
Baby, I like it.
no, it's it's funny because like he actually likes to go by initials. Like he didn't want to say his real name because he was at that time was important and people wanted to like get at him. But so O.W. Gurley is the guy who created Black Wall Street, right? So he started in the early 1900s when the government had finally did a peace treaty with the Cherokee Indians. I wouldn't even call it a peace treaty. They actually like bought their land back at cheap, which is basically like I don't know how they finessed that, but anyway, during that time they had Oklahoma land grab, and they literally like shot a gun, and people raced to like go acquire land, right? And OW and his wife had acquired 40 acres, right? And from it was the northern part of I think Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if you guys don't know what transpired and what happened, so he built it up 40 blocks. He built it up with black businesses, restaurants, schools, everything. He started to build it up. He wasn't the only one, but he started it. Like it was his plan. It was his image, and it was all torn down. 1921 when I think his name is Dick Woodley or Woodland, young black boy. They say touched a girl in the elevator, right? And so they jailed this young black kid, and this at this time multimillionaire because he has Black Wall Street. He him and a couple like maybe 100 people, black people, went down to the jail to protect the kid because there's a mob of people coming to like one to drag him out of jail and hang him, right? So the story about OW, like the fact that him being on his high horse, he still came down to try to help a kid he didn't have to, right? So all my people like resemble each other as far as they trace, right? And the fact that this millionaire reached down to come help a kid and also help bring financial stability to all the black community is just another person who I really like because at this time when we have a lot of things going on with DEI and people not working, we're gonna need something in place, right? And then which is gonna lead to my third guy, but OW Gerd, I think he's very vital to society. That mindset is rare, and we need it again. And that's it.
Hey, I just want to say that is one story I always found sad. It's just like the Emmett Till story to be
Yeah, very
lied
sad.
on, and then the woman come out later in the same story and say she didn't tell the truth. But In that instance, 400 black people died because of that one lie.
Four
And
hundred
that,
died. I think like 700 got injured.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just sad. It's
Yeah.
fucked up, but that's sad.
Yeah. I just want to add one more thing because just remember. I'm not sure how true it is, but they say that's the first time that America used airplanes because according to the stories, bombs was dropped on Greenwood, Oklahoma. And to have airplanes with bombs, it sounds like something like with some type of authority, you know? Yeah,
They
that's it.
called in the National Guard
Yeah,
to
you
do
see?
that.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's 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 crazy right there.
that's great.
And
That's
that
scary.
makes you think because at that time and Black Wall Street eclipsed today's Wall Street. And at
Yep,
that time it eclipsed. It was worth billions. They would
yep,
skilled labor, everything. They had their own community.
everything.
That's sad, man. But definitely inspiring, man. Definitely inspiring. So I think people should all look into that story. Shows what happened when we unify.
Yes, I agree. And Jeremy, I just want to give you props.
What's up?
So far you're knocking it out the park. I mean, the Harriet Tubman thing. I remember hearing that story about her getting hit upside the head and being
Yeah,
narcoleptic. But this was back in grammar school, and you kind of brought that back. But yeah, great choice. Uh, they made great sacrifices for us, and the person that I'm going to speak on next made great sacrifices too. Uh, he didn't, suffer a lot like the people that you mentioned, but who I want to talk about is Jackie Robinson,
mm,
who broke the color barrier in baseball. Great baseball player in the Negro Leagues, and somehow, some way, they wanted to take a chance on this black man. But yet, just imagine how many names he was called during the game. Uh, just imagine him getting hazed by his own teammates, not being inclusive. Maybe, I don't know, he probably didn't wasn't allowed to travel with him. He had to find his own way to the games or whatever. But Jackie Robinson basically broke the color barrier, and what came with that is the abuse he probably had to take. Probably getting underpaid. Again, the probably getting death threats,
hmm,
and just in general, just imagine back in that time, just being an average black man, but here you are, a black man that's showing some of the best players up, and that's not that's frowned upon. So I think about all the stuff that he went through and persevere. He could have easily given up, like, man, baseball ain't this serious,
yeah,
but he fought on, and I want to think him breaking the color barrier in baseball helped break the color barriers in other sports as well.
yep,
They might have had to go through the same thing, but they found value in what we can do. uh they talk about the NFL and the NBA now is majority black. you know we got black players in hockey. We're not afraid to say, hey, I like this. This is interesting. I can go pro. It
yeah,
just think about everything that we have a luxury of doing right now with no recourse. How somebody had to break that barrier where and whatever repercussions they had to suffer. You know, uh, getting fire set on your front porch or whatever, or just. Do you remember the little kid? I think they call him the Alabama Six, where they integrated the school. They had to be
yeah,
walked in by the National Guard. Could you
Yeah.
imagine that? All you want to do is get an education. Now you
Mhm.
had some little young ones, they were about 7 or 8, but there was one, she looked at about 11 or 12. And I still remember the picture. I remember used to see it in the jet. She was wearing these black sunglasses and she was getting escorted in by the National Guard. All they wanted was an education. They just wanted to learn. They wanted the same opportunity that everybody else was getting. And I'm sure they were tugging on her hair, putting gum in her hair or whatever. But you know what? She showed up the next day. And I think, not to say baseball or Jackie Robinson did that, but as far back I can, this is what I can see where barriers were really broken, where it was really in the spotlight, and what he had to go through just to make it acceptable for anybody to play baseball now. So yeah, that
Elroy,
yes.
I just want to say, I'm not sure if you're aware, but have you seen that movie called 42 with
No, I
Chadwick
haven't.
Boseman?
Uh,
Check it out.
so
Check it
I
out.
want to watch that, and I was going to mention another movie later. I was going to ask you guys, had you seen Hidden Figures?
No, I haven't.
Who's in Hidden Figures? Who is that?
Taraji P Henson, Kevin Costner.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I want to see that. I haven't seen
Put that on your list. Definitely gonna watch. I was definitely gonna watch it this weekend, so I'll probably sneak in 42 as well. But
it.
yeah, and we could talk about them as well. In one instance, there was the colored bathroom was like a half a mile for her. So she had to go. There's this one scene in the movie. He's like, "Hey, you disappear every day for about 40 minutes. What the hell you been doing?" She's like, "Well, the only colored bathroom is about a half a mile away. So I
Oh
gotta
yeah,
go
I've seen
there."
that.
And then
I've seen that. Great movie.
he takes it back to one of the whites only. He said, now it's a anybody's, washroom. But so yeah, Hidden Figures, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out 42 this weekend.
All
Brandon, number
right.
three.
I, for me, one thing I'll say is about us as black people, there aren't a lot of us with great, strong passion for something. And there were a lot of great leaders in the 50s, 60s, 40s, even 70s. But this leader was very influential and very good at motivating people and getting people to join with each other and showed being unified. Even was able to get gang members to get unified in Chicago, which is a very difficult place. And I'm sure y'all probably know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Fred Hampton.
Yep.
Amazing, amazing leader. To be only 21 at the time of his murder, all the things he accomplished in that short time span. Getting a Rainbow Coalition to come together. And I know when people hear Rainbow today, they like, oh, that's some other stuff. But no, there were people out here, even white activists, out here fighting for the same cause to get black people, you know, liberated. Just, it's just, looking at his story, it's just sad to see that a black person was involved in taking him down. Will O'Neill, always be famous and known as the snitch, but his story is just powerful to me because he was able to go in those circles with gang members and get them to, you know, call a truce and come together and protect the neighborhoods of Chicago, educate us, teach us, having the Black Panthers teach us what about weaponry, guns, our rights, skills, carpentry, plumbing, all the things that come from like Rosewood, the skills that were back in those times people had. Now getting that up and just to see that from him is very influential to me as well because it's like to see a leader like that, somebody so passionate about it. It's not phony, not fake, none of that. He stood for something, and we don't have too much of that today in our own community, and which is sad to see. Looking back in older times, like we need people like that out here. And then it's not to say that we need to be led, but it's nice to have people out here who stand for something. Because there's too many of us out here that don't stand for nothing. They just want to have the switch and be gangsters and throw up gang signs when it's more to life out here. And I just saw, and it really what made me think about Fred Hampton is I saw a kid today. They had a viral video of him getting sentenced, and on the title was "The Streets Lied to You." The streets lied to you. It ain't worth it. And that's what all these young kids out here need to hear. It ain't about being out in the streets. It's about being more than that. A lot more than that. Cause you it's only two ways two outcomes in that life. And we all know that. But you have so much more out here if you just follow the right path and gain this knowledge, gain the skills in the books that you don't read, or the articles you ain't read. Gain that knowledge and we all become powerful. Follow Fred Hampton's path. That man read every day. That man talked to his people. That man was trying to educate his people. That's what we all should be doing. So that's my guy right there, Fred Hampton.
So Brandon, if you haven't seen it already, there's another good movie about him. Have you seen? Go watch Judas and the Black Messiah. It
Oh yeah,
it tells the story great. Like I love it. Have you seen it?
yeah, I seen it,
Excellent
Yeah,
and
movie.
excellent
that's
movie.
they they really played that scene to actual like people
Yep.
gave the survivors of that when the police came and raided and how they shot and everything to the room. They gave a excellent account of what actually happened.
Yeah.
Like they were just shooting to shoot. Nobody actually shot back at them. They were just shooting through the room and killing Mark. What's the other guy? There was another Black Panther they killed. I think Mark Kark, I think his name is. And then they killed Fred Hampton, of course, in his sleep. So the man wasn't even awake. And then they taking pictures with the body. It was just, it showed how gruesome they are when it comes to us. In those times, it was terrible. And then of course, Will O'Neal, what was his reward for getting, you know, taking down Fred Hampton? He got a gas station.
Yep.
So it's funny that I was just talking about that last week with a buddy of mine, and it's funny how he infiltrated the organization. He said, "Give me something that can make me valuable, something that that they need." You know what that was?
Wow.
It was a car. Nobody had a car. They couldn't get around. So him having a car kind of got him into the group because he was their transportation to and fro. That's if that's true. I'm thinking like, wow, was we really, was it really that tough that just give him a car and he can just join a group? Is that what we needed? But yeah, great one, Brandon.
And so it's my goal. And Elroy, that's a good segue to my thing because if you see my angle from the beginning to now, you're gonna understand where I'm trying to go with it. And how I was speak about like DEI and us not having our own and stuff like that, right? And and nowadays, I think I normally look at athletes, entertainers as a distraction, right? I think they pay a lot to distract the common people from how hard life is and the ploys that the masses, not the masses, the small minute do to us, right? And for someone who can have that spotlight but still in a way ignores it, and that person to me is I'm gonna give props to him is right now. Brand, he may laugh because I don't like his basketball game, but Jalen Brown. I want to give props to Jalen Brown because after his big, I think deal he made, maybe 200 and something million for five
Three
years or something like that.
three hundred
How much?
sixty-five million.
365 million. He went public and said that he want to reopen Black Wall Street, right? And he didn't just say he wanted to do it. He actually like put in the works to actually do it. And as of right now, he started in Boston. It's what it's called like online right now, Boston Exchange. You can go there now and see that it's live and active. And what he's doing is he's interviewing like small businesses and like helping them grow and like actually like investing in black business. Like today he's doing it. And to the point where he tried to purchase a five-story like main hub, like as a building in Boston. But I think it was Wells Fargo didn't sell to him. So he's still looking in that area to try to purchase like a building, right? And then he even moved forward. He opened up something, another one in Oakland. right? He using these prime areas that that have black people, so he's actually like putting down the footwork. He's making progress, right? And what I found unique about his business is if you look at his logo, he has is what's called Black Exchange, right? Or Oakland Exchange. He uses the X, and most people don't know. Like even myself today, I'm wearing the X today, and most people don't know it's a X 300 signatures. And X is significant because this was the signatures of our ancestors who were slaves and couldn't write their name because they have different names. So when they come off the boat, they just get the pen and write X. So if you look at his logo, it may not mean this, but this is what I thought of when I seen it. He has the X as his logo, and the way he put it together, it reminded me of my X 300 signatures. So I just want to give props to Jalen to like putting down a foundation so we can grow from because in this climate of the world today, and everything's going on with businesses, DEI, like job scarcity, like all this stuff, we're gonna need some type of entity that we can grow from. And like I say, finances is one important thing. Like Elroy mentioned, the guy sold out Fred Hampton over a car. So how is the community so bad that a car can take down a leader? You know what I'm saying? So I want to give props to Jaden because he's making moves.
I want to show that picture.
Yep, yep.
Man, this
Jalen Brown.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that this is unscripted. It's just how great minds think. We think as one, and that's how it's coming out. Totally unscripted, live, unedited, uncut. My final one is not person is not famous, uh, but to me, better than Superman, better than Batman, and person I want to talk about is my dad. My dad has always been a hard worker, and trying to instill the same values in me. I remember having to wake up early Saturday mornings, just to clean the house, and I'm like, I want to watch cartoons. That was my mentality, but and it started making sense. I still want to watch cartoons, so I'll start cleaning up on Friday nights, so I don't have to wait. I can wake up and just make my bowl of cereal. My chores are done. Or rake the leaves, cut the grass early in the day. And I was complaining like, okay, I'll get to like do it now. And that taught me that you get up and take care of your business first. That's how I am on Saturdays. Get up and take care of your business first, and you got the rest of the day to goof off. You can do whatever you want. Just get the business out the way. Uh, my father, working, real humble. Didn't make a lot, but he made enough to pay for a mortgage, pay for the light bill, and keep clothes on our back. I lived fortunate to live in a two-income household, but yet it's still, we still fell on hard times. We weren't rich, but we made it happen. And my father also taught me always keep a stash. Don't let your lady know about you because she'll be willing to spend it on the most meaningless thing. And it's true.
It's true.
So when that real emergency comes, he can be like, yeah, this is that case where I got to hit the stash. Not, I got to get a birthday present for Jasmine or whoever the fuck or whatever. He made the hard choices. He was the one at the end of the day that everything pretty much fell on him, and he instilled those values in me, and he was real hard on me. I would do things, and there was a point where I thought my father didn't like me. I really did. But one day I said something, and he said, I'm just trying to teach you how the world is because they don't give a shit about you. I care about you. I want this to be nothing to you when it happens to you out there in the world. But this is what the world is going to do to you. They don't care about you. If it comes down to them eating and you starving, guess what? You probably going to miss a meal. Not everybody's your friend. Every lesson I learned, I either learned it the easy way or the hard way. It's like he would tell me stuff and I wouldn't listen, and then until it really happened to me, that it would resonate. I remember as a kid, I didn't like what I was eating. Whatever I took. maybe 2 or 3 bites off of it, and I threw it in the garbage. Oh man, he raised holy hell. He was like, you could have put that in the refrigerator, wrapped it up, and you could have ate it another time, or somebody else could have ate it. Don't be throwing that food away. And I'm like, yeah, away. So fast forward to when I was married, my wife already had kids, and I had fed the youngest one, and here he is. He took 2 or 3 bites off his food, and then I saw him get up. I'm washing dishes and everything, and he throws the food in the garbage. And I got mad. I was red as shit. I was on fire. But it was that one moment when I was like, and my father used to always had his phrase, "Wait till you grown." And I calmed down. And I didn't get mad at him, but I explained to him that it could have been wrapped up. Somebody else could have ate it, or he might have wanted it later. So all my life lessons, all the great things that make me who I am, come from my dad. And growing up, my dad, real tall guy, shit, he's still taller than me. He was like Superman. He was huge. Now I look at him now, he's a little older. He's 82 years old. And you know, he he's not standing up as tall, but he still gets around. I mean, and he's still keen on his senses. He's not losing it and everything. But I still see flashbacks of the man that he used to be when he was in his 30s or in his 40s or whatever. And to me, it's like Superman with kryptonite wrapped around his neck. He's not as fast as he used to be, but yet he's still my dad. And you know, I used to hear something dumb. I was one, well, not the only one. I think there was only other one other family with a full family on the block. But I always thought it was cool that the guys that just lived with their mother or didn't have a father in their life, I thought that was the coolest thing. And I never said it out loud verbally, but I was like, man, I wish my dad wasn't here. The dumbest fucking thing that I could conjure up in my head. Uh, my father's a great man. I love him to death. He's my hero. He's always been there for me when I needed him, and he gave me the hard lessons sometimes, and man, he was lethal with a belt. But that's why when we were discussing this, guys, I knew that I wanted him to be one of my heroes, and I think I kept saying he doesn't have to be famous, just somebody that's influential to you guys. And I guess I
Yeah.
just kept throwing that seed out there because I didn't want you to feel like you had to stick to who we saw on TV, whether
Yeah.
it's your father, your uncle, your mother, your grandmother, somebody. You know, I wanted, and we did, and I think we all expressed who these people were influential to us, and how you guys talked about them was real passionate. But yeah, my dad's my ultimate hero.
So Brandon, go ahead and snip that, send it to Elroy to get to his father for his birthday. You know,
So
Yeah.
that's
my
what's up,
dad,
bro.
my dad does watch the podcast, so
Oh, for real.
I am
What's up?
going to say, Dad, you need to watch episode 35. Yeah, watch 35.
35.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. And you guys can't see me on camera, but as I talk about them, I'm kind of getting teary eyed. So after I get off the phone, after this podcast, I'm gonna call them and tell them I love them because
Yeah,
man, yeah.
that's what's
All
up,
right.
bro. That's what's up.
Roy over there crying with Barry Mello playing in the background.
Barry Manilow
Nah, I'm just playing. I'm
at
just
the
playing.
Copa Cabana.
But hats off to you, Roy. That's no definitely, man, definitely inspiring, man. Definitely.